GMAC, GMAC, GMAC.
GMEC, everyone. Super excited about today's Paradigm Live.
So I'm Mike, your friendly leftover and community manager.
And I'm Brianna. You might know me as Lady Diamond Hand. I help with marketing ops and a lot of other things here at CyberBrokers. We're here as your hosts of our weekly live stream.
And this is Paradigm Live, and it's gonna be a good one.
Yes.
So let's start with just who CyberBrokers is, just to make sure for those people who might be new.
Yes. So if you're not familiar with CyberBrokers, we're a metaverse-native media and entertainment company, and we're working here to build an entire universe through beautiful art, collectibles, content, interactive experiences. So got a lot going on here at CyberBrokers.
And we've got a sneak peek that's going to show exactly that today. Very excited for that. So make sure to check out our website, cyberbrokers.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at cyberbrokers_. Make sure to smash that subscribe button here. And if you like what you see, give us a like. We have two primary collections, CyberBrokers and Genesis Mechs. And we're going to be adding Pixel Brokers to that CyberBrokers collection coming up soon, right?
Yes, stay tuned. You'll find out exactly.
Okay, before we start, how excited are you?
I'm super excited. We've been working like tirelessly behind the scenes here, so we're so excited to finally get dates out there and for you guys to finally see everything that we've been working on, you know, for almost a year now at this point. Like, there's been a lot of blood, sweat, tears, love, vision into all of these projects. So we're super excited.
Yep, I ditto that. Okay, so let's talk about what we're gonna talk about today. So I'll start off. If you haven't Discord token gated in yet, you should make sure to look at the Delegate Cash channel. There's two options. You do not have to use delegate.cash, but we 100% recommend using it. So you're welcome to connect with your cold wallet if you want, but you need to do that because as you're going to start seeing today, there's going to be things that are only accessible via token gating in Discord. So you want to make sure you do that. We're going to touch on the commemorative NFT as well.
And then we have a bunch of fun stuff. So we have dates for Pixel Brokers launch, dates for NFT NYC and our meetup, dates for Mech Assembly, dates for upcoming conferences. So we've got dates for everyone, dates for everything. And then we have a really fun segment we're going to go into after, you know, kind of all that stuff with our holder, James, who helped develop Pixie Bolt AI V2.
Looking forward to, you know, more of a behind the scenes, because again, this is something that's been worked on for months as well. You know, the commemorative NFT, you know, kind of started with James, and then it led into, you know, AI models that are specific to CyberBrokers, and you know, it took a long time to get that all kind of working right.
Yes.
So again, more behind the scenes that we're happy to talk about today. Okay, I feel like I needed like a drum roll, you know, video or something before we like got to it. So
all the good stuff.
Should we delay some more? Maybe we should delay some more before we get to it. What do you think?
We can talk about the commemorative NFT quick.
Okay, let's do that.
Quick reminder. So our commemorative NFT, so if you participated in any of our version alpha quests, so any of our quests in the past year, you can connect with that wallet to have a free claim on our website for this beautiful art piece we did. It shows our main character Spice, and it animates and flips through all these really beautiful scenes from our whole version alpha lore story. And like Mike touched on before, all of these art pieces were actually a collaboration between our Pixie Bolt AI V2 text-to-image AI art, as well as Ozamot, who is the artist behind CyberBrokers, So I think it's kind of a really cool like hybrid mix of
Yeah.
AI art, the human hand, and I think it kind of is a cool like symbolically of like CyberBrokers and kind of what we're doing here, like the high value of art, of tech, of all these like cool things. So that claim ends at the end of March, March 31st. So make sure that you claim that. Again, it's free. So if you participate in any of our quests, don't miss out. And this is the first in our CyberBrokers accolades collection. So
I think the key word there is first, right?
First.
First.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. I want it first, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is a collection that is to kind of honor and give shout outs to people who've done certain things in our community. So this is for all of our version alpha questers. This piece is for you.
So where do they go to get it?
So you go to cyberbrokers.com/claim on our website. Again, you can claim with any wallet that you connected in any of our version alpha quests.
Or a delegated wallet if you have it set up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you connected with your cold wallet for quests and you have delegate.cash set up, you can use the hot wallet for that.
Yes.
Because security.
Exactly.
Okay, so should we do it now?
I guess so.
I don't know. I feel like we should like fill for like 20 minutes and just like make people wait. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we have now officially set, locked and loaded dates for 2 launches. So Pixel Brokers is launching April 6th. So this is for all holders of CyberBrokers. You will get the Pixel Broker equivalent of your CyberBroker. So that's April 6th.
And you'll be able to use it in games by just logging in with your hot wallet, delegate. And then we have a Mech Assembly locked and loaded April 17th. And I think we want to talk a little bit about why we haven't made date announcements specifically. So what's going on here is we were slated for the last week of March. Okay. And we're there, but as with all things CyberBrokers, quality is of the utmost importance. And we need a little more time just to ensure the quality of what's getting produced. And honestly, 3D assets are complicated potatoes, and we're there. We just need that extra week. We ran into a scheduling issue because the first week of April leads into Easter holiday. NFT NYC is right after that. So we didn't really want to launch that first week because then we'd all be gone for NFT NYC. So that's why we're putting Mech Assembly on the 17th of April. We'll be done with NFT NYC. We can focus on the launch experience and celebrating it with everyone. And then, based upon that, Pixel Brokers will come out on the 6th. The associated game will hopefully be available at that time as well, confirming that with them now. And then we have a NFT NYC date.
Yes.
So save Wednesday afternoon. And we're going to do something a little different, as always with CyberBrokers, but save the afternoon. I haven't looked at chat. Maybe we should look at chat. Oh, there we go. Got an early birthday gift for someone. Happy birthday soon.
So April is gonna be, we have a lot going on. We've got Pixel Brokers, NFT NYC, Mech Assembly. So it's gonna be a lot of exciting stuff. So we want you to get ready. We want you to get excited. And we actually have a fun sneak peek, I think, Mike, you have of some fun stuff to get everyone in the Mech Assembly mood, right?
Yes. So we've been talking about it's hard to understand mech sometimes until you see them. And I think it's probably even harder to understand until you can wear them, right? In a world.
Yes.
So I think what we'd like to do is give a sneak peek of a mech as an avatar in a world.
Yes.
Should we delay more? I still feel like we need to delay more. Sorry.
I'm excited. I know the first time I tried one on in like a virtual world, like it clicked for me too, even though like we've been working on them forever. But
Yeah.
when you see them in all their 3D glory and like you're moving around, it's really, really cool.
Okay, so let's do this. I have the Duchess, which I believe, and this is going to be a good experience because I don't think you all necessarily get the details that are in these 3D assets through the 2D pictures, right? It's not until you can see it. So let's just me stop talking and let's jump live. Okay, here we go. Welcome.
There she is.
To the Duchess. Okay, in a 3D world. Okay, you can see the detail. That
all
is
porcelain, like all that like sketching and everything, like looks so cool.
Yep, and of course, she moves.
Then we have some other fan favorites around.
Yeah, we're not going to go into those, but you can kind of see them in the background. So as you can see, I wish I could zoom in a little closer here, but you know the detail is fantastic. And this is a VRM. Okay, I'm loaded the VRM into a standard world, and I'm walking around as my mech. Yeah, Fathom kind of like dominates every screen.
I know. I'm like Fathom is another one. I mean, they all are so detailed. Like, I'm excited for everyone to get their hands on them too. Like the CyberBracer, when you see all like the stickers on it, like Fathom, like the details and like the coral and everything.
Yeah.
Like we're excited. Again, as we were like gearing up for assembly now to like get to all those details. Like I'm so excited. Like it's so cool. I know. The glows, the glows too. Like there's all this like stuff like I don't think you can appreciate like until you see them like actually moving around in the 3D world.
And we've been saying this, and it's hard to market a 3D asset when you're showing 2D pictures. So Mech Assembly launch will fix that. And as you saw, you'll be able to wear your assembled mechs in worlds and games. So let's see, any questions? CyberRacer is, I'm trying to think, what's some of the other ones that you noticed that had like details that don't show in the 2D pictures?
Well, someone mentioned Witchwood too. Like Witchwood is really, really cool. It's also just cool seeing how they all move because they're all obviously different sizes and shapes. So like they just seeing how all the different ones move around is really cool. Like I know I was playing around it and I was like Nico-chan, and then you're like the big beefy like Fathom. Like I don't know, it's fun how like unique and individual they all are. And again, like I'm excited just to like have people like zoom around them and like just kind of zoom in on the details. And obviously we have a really creative community here at CyberBrokers. Like I cannot wait to see
what they do with them.
Because again, Mike was trying to help me just figure out how to move around HyperFi. I'm like just trying to figure out how to move the keyboard. So
so we'll have sessions, to help with that. We'll have sessions on how to take your 3D asset and pop it into Blender and all those things to help you use your assets. But I think we want to repeat the key thing here is it'll be very easy just to equip your mech in a world and go. No huge complicated concept. And we got to show more Franken mechs. That is something we need to do, and we've heard that.
Yes, we're working on some stuff to show off the Franken-mechs and that's what I'm really excited about, because I'm probably going to have a Franken-mech. And I think it'll be cool just to see like how creative people are with like all their mix and match parts. And then you'll have your afterglow. There's like the color picker, so you'll actually be able to like change certain parts of your mech. So I think that's where a lot of creativity will also show through. So it'll be cool. We've mentioned it a lot, like a mech fashion show, but it'll be exciting on assembly day. Like,
Yeah,
see them roll in, and we're working on some stuff to make sure we can highlight all those like really cool mechs that are going to come through. And excited to see how everyone makes it their own.
and so I wanted to kind of talk again. Go look at the 2D pictures and look for like details and labeling, and like ShopBot and Wowie are two other ones that seem to have a lot of details. And remember, you haven't seen the backs of these things yet either. So there's some surprises going on there. Like I think I remember that my other Mech is a Nexus sticker.
Yes, is on the Cyber Racer one, which I love.
You just dropped alpha. Oh my gosh, did you just?
Like, we'll give a little sneak peek of that one. But I love those details. Like, I think every single mech has such a personality, and which I think is so cool, because it doesn't matter like what model you have, like how rare it is, like the amount of work that went into making each one really special. You'll really be able to see when you have the 3D assets. And yeah, find a bunch of little Easter eggs and little tidbits hidden within the lore of these mechs.
And it's kind of why we haven't been showing a lot of them, because we don't want to give all the fun secrets away. So CBGB's tool is a great way to look at what your mech could be. Even Franken-mechs, you can kind of see where the afterglow points are. And you can also see where the part colors. So each mech has different areas that you can change the part color on. Some have a lot, some have a little. And it's kind of the same with afterglow too, right? There's a...
Yep. Again, each of them is so individual, and there's like a lot of thought that went into what parts of the mech you could change the color on, where the afterglow should go. So again, that will be, like CBDG's tool, I think, is really good at kind of getting a sense of that. And again, it'll be cool just to see like, not every, liquidator mech is going to look exactly the same, even if you have a full liquidator. Like obviously the Franken-mechs, like there's all these different ways. The name
make it unique. Yeah.
Like a lot of thought has been put into making every aspect of these super customizable and unique to the holder. So we're really excited. I know we're getting excited here too, if you couldn't tell by me and Mike being all smiles about finally sharing dates. So yeah, I think you guys will be really, really excited and happy once you see kind of all the work that's been put into these.
Yeah, and just to clarify this comment, Fisker Karma, not every surface of every part can change color. So it's not like change the whole part. If you go into CBGB's tool, you can see which color parts can be changed. So like on Duchess here that I was showing earlier, there's not a huge amount of color you can change on the parts, because you want to keep kind of the original design. But like, Gigazilla, as an example, there's lots of color where you can change it. So it's all a matter of where design elements are. Okay. Anything else we should touch on here?
I think we got, the day is out. We're excited, get hyped.
Let's review it again.
Yes. Pixel Brokers, April 6th, right before NFT NYC. Again, this will be for all CyberBrokers holders. You will get a pixel version of your own CyberBroker. This is free. It's not like a claim. it'll be a part of owning a CyberBroker now. You'll be able to own the Pixel version of it. Again, we're super, super excited about this. And again, we're gonna do a lot of fun things with, like, there's gonna be games. We're gonna have some fun, you know, like bounties and things to, again, get the community going, get the creativity flowing. So that's Pixel Brokers will lead us right into NFT NYC.
And Mech Assembly on April 17th, immediately after NFT NYC. And then the rest of April is going to be all about mechs, baby.
All about mechs.
Just my Mech Parts 3. And if someone could finish that song for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. And then NFT NYC reserved Wednesday afternoon. There'll be more details coming up on that. So for all other Pixel Broker questions, you're going to have to wait until April 6th. We've thought about showing some more, but it's a couple weeks. We're going to save it all for the launch. You will be able to connect a hot wallet and get into a game. So we're very excited for that part. And then Mech Assembly. I think we've said it enough, right?
Yes. Oh, and a question: the Pixel Brokers it's not a separate collection. We just want to clarify that.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, they are not NFTs. They go along with the CyberBroker that they're associated with, and because the intent is, if you own the CyberBroker, you get to be that Pixel Broker in games. And then I think probably the last thing is, we've given the dates, but we haven't said the details. So there's more coming. Okay, let's switch.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to. Oh, I forgot about this. So we have two conferences. We will not be at them, but we have special offers for CyberBroker holders. The first is NFT Miami, which is the end of March leading into April.
And then we've got two special offers. These are for CyberBrokers holders only. So we have the Aped-In tickets. So this is a $1,800 value. We're going to be giving away the 2 tickets to 2 winners. So if you're one of our 2 winners, you'll get to get a free ticket for a guest. These are 2 codes. They're non-transferable, so please only enter into this if you know you will be able to go to NFT Miami. We're going to have giveaway details on how to enter to win these Aped-In tickets in the new holders only channel. You might have seen that pop up in our Discord this morning. So stay tuned, check out that channel. There'll be a chance for you to enter in to win those tickets, which would be really nice if you're planning to go to NFT Miami. This is like an awesome, awesome prize.
Yep, and then there will be 50 friends tickets, so that's kind of general admission, 75% off. We will post that code in holders only later today as well. The 50 is a first come, first serve. So, whoever gets there first and grabs tickets. Again, these are non-transferable. So please only use them if you're going to NFT Miami. And huge shout out to NFT Miami and Quinn Button for hooking this up for CyberBroker holders. Very, very nice of them to do that for us.
Yeah.
And we've got another one.
So many conferences.
Yes, non-fungible conference. Sometimes this is referred to as NFT Lisbon. This is at the end of June. Unfortunately, we won't be there for that one either. But the organizers talked to us in Paris and were very nice to make this offer to CyberBroker holders as well. So there are 20 tickets available at 30 euros. It's a 600 euro value. So again, kind of like NFT Paris, great way to go to the conference for CyberBroker holders. These are first come, first serve as well. Again, non-transferable. So if you're not going to NFT Lisbon, don't buy them. If you go to their site, It's live right now. So go get your tickets for NFT Lisbon / non-fungible conference. You will have to connect with a cold wallet to verify CyberBroker holdership. They apologize. They will have delegate cash next year, they said.
It's all exciting stuff. Even though we won't be there, we're excited to have a CyberBrokers present at these events.
And if someone's going and they want to organize, a holder meetup, pop into the meetups channel. We'll be happy to send you some goodies to pass out. Okay. Now I think we're done.
I think now we're done with the our checklist. Now for the main event.
The main event. So James, we apologize. That took longer than we wanted. Let's bring holder James and AI engineer up to the stage. Hello, James.
Hi, James.
Hey guys. I'm super pumped to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So you want to do a little introduction first? So you're clearly a CyberBroker holder.
Yes, I am, and it was actually one of the first NFTs that I bought. I remember seeing it. I actually caught on to it just shortly after it minted out, and it caught my attention on OpenSea. Just thought I was blown away by the artwork. Checked out Josie. Thought she was a total badass, the coolest Web3 founder that I saw. And my son, my 12-year-old, actually picked out the hacker. So that's the first one that I got.
Nice.
I didn't even know it was like a talent. I didn't know any of that stuff. I just picked it out because my son picked it. So yeah.
That works perfect. And so you're also an AI. Sorry. So you're also an AI engineer?
Yes, I am an AI engineer. I've been one going on 7 years now, but I've actually been in AI way before that. I have started companies, several companies. One of my first companies was actually an AI startup. We were in the iPhone App Store when it launched, so 2008. So it's 15 years ago. But at that time, we were using hidden Markov models. They didn't have deep learning neural networks like you see today. So it's just mind-blowing how much it's advanced.
So let's kind of set the framework, and then we're going to kind of walk through your understanding of how we got to Pixie Bolt 2 and all the work you did behind the scenes to make this happen. And as we said earlier, it's been months, so you were playing originally with the models, and we connected, and we got you into Alpha Command and some space to work. And you started playing with models, and then that kind of led to the commemorative NFT, which you created a bunch of specific models for, and then ended up rolling into Pixie Bolt AI V2.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride for sure, to say the least. I think when I first shared some experimental early work of cameras, that was the first one I tried it on. I just thought that it was such an iconic CyberBroker trait, and it is like the main image of the CyberBroker project. So I just thought that was really meaningful. And I wanted to see, I didn't know what the AI would spit out, honestly. I had no idea what was going to happen. And this was shortly after, for those of you who don't know, Stable Diffusion. It's like the first open source text to image algorithm. So at the time there was just DALL-E, Midjourney, all this exciting stuff, but it was all closed source. No one could get in and tinker with it or do anything with it really. And then Stable Diffusion came out, and ever since it's just been like Josie's in the chat. It's a whirlwind of a creative explosion since then, I think, where everyone's just tinkering with it, open source, adding new functionality. And so, of course, being an AI engineer, I became obsessed with it. I mean, since it came out, I could barely work on my projects because I was just so enamored by it. And yeah, the camera, just once I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is dope. And then I shared it with in that channel, I think, and Mike immediately reached out to me and DM'd me. And Mike, by the way, has been amazing, so supportive since the very beginning. And obviously Brianna so amazing during the whole commemorative project. Well, everyone just on the CyberBroker team is top notch, so supportive, and Josie, of course, very supportive as well. So yeah, the cameras, and then the BTC mask was like my second choice of something to work on, and again, very iconic piece, because obviously Josie had the original artwork of that, and then anyways, I think Mikey reached out about Sockball Quotidian, like as an example of like, can you make an AI model that can be trained on a specific character and make
Yeah.
consistent outputs? And that was sort of like, that was always in my mind of what to do, but I wanted to first try with the traits because those were in my mind easier to get right.
Yeah, because the whole person didn't matter. You were just putting something on the top of the person as an example, right? Versus trying to get the person to
Exactly.
match.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And you can see even with these early experiments, like everyone has like there's no background, everyone's facing the same pose. So like I still had a lot of work to do. So that was just, I call it like a baseline, just an initial experiment. So go ahead to the next slide, I guess.
Well, now, before we get here, I was curious. So I think one of the challenges you initially had was, these are 2D assets,
Yes.
and while we can flip layers on and off and kind of help give a little variety.
Well, the SVG layers really help. I mean, that was obviously a very unique thing to CyberBrokers, where we could mix and match layers. I mean, we could create brokers that didn't even exist in the collection, right?
Yeah. So could you talk about the process? I mean, what does it take to like train just the camera mask here?
Yeah. So obviously, the only reference that the AI had, all AI models need training data, right, to learn from. And so I wanted to stay true to the original NFT artwork. So all I fed it was the original NFT artwork. But then, I initially started out just like taking screenshots of it. And I was like, okay, let's see if it'll learn from this. And it did. But then I was like, well, it'd probably be better if we made it more diverse, right? If we added more combinations. And then I think Mike, you made like a tool for me, a command line tool, which was super awesome.
Because it's all about numbers, right? You need
Yeah.
the more pictures with variety you get and you put in, the better the results out, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the problem with models, AI models, especially if you have very little training data, is that it's called overfitting. Overfitting is where the model essentially memorizes the features, like the characteristics of the artwork. If you only have like 3 or 4 images or
Yeah.
however many, I think there's only 19 brokers with camera mask trait, then you've got 19 images and you
Yeah.
kind of go with what you're given. But because of the SVG layers, we were able to mix and swap out different,
Make as many as you wanted. Yeah.
essentially make unlimited. I mean, it feels like making unlimited data for the model. So that really helped. And then also being able to knock out the background and swap out the background with I think Lost Paradigms gave the go ahead to use their artwork. So I started dropping in Lost Paradigm scenes behind the brokers to kind of give more of the CyberBroker aesthetic. And then obviously I used the AI model to just generate scenes as well. Like you could just dream up stuff, if you tell it like cyberpunk night scene and something like that, it could just spit it out for you and then drop in the broker in the front of it. So
Yeah. And Brianna, do you remember that this was a while ago? We created the alpha channel command, or we created the alpha command channel for this in Discord, and James started like outputting stuff, and we were all just like drooling, waiting for the next set of pictures, right?
I know. I'll have to, maybe we could drop some in the Discord, but for the commemorative NFT, James did all of the base artwork for that. And then we worked with Ozmot to kind of just perfect some of the facial features because we wanted them to match like the NFT a little bit more. But all of that base artwork is all by James, like the poses, like the background, like even like the expression, like there were some times where like we would have like the whole base image, and then James would just regenerate faces for us like over and over and over again. Like
Yeah.
for unironic Ken, we like couldn't get his face right, like his side profile. So James generated a bunch of options for us, and like that's like all the inspo like that Azamat used to create like unironic Ken's side profile. So yeah, we should drop maybe some of like the
Early days, yeah.
yeah, because those were all like there's so many really like this one. This is for there's a scene or lore with this is a camera stockpile, which again James mentioned was the first image we did.
Yeah.
She had the really cool wings, like
Yes. Oh, I loved doing this one. I'm actually glad this was the first one because it turned out so bomb. I thought like it was just dope.
yeah.
And, I didn't know what was gonna happen, you know, when I first started. Honestly, it was pretty crappy at first. Like some of the initial results. I'm too embarrassed to even show it here. They look so bad. And then I almost wanted to like tell Josie like I give up, Josie. I can't do this. But
Like,
as
it turned
an
out
engineer, you have to be super
great.
stubborn and persistent, and you have to be really patient, and you have to just be willing to run like tons and tons of experiments. It's a lot of trial and error for sure. And then there's just like that magic spark. I don't know how to explain it, but like all of a sudden it just clicks and it gets it. It gets the vibe, it gets the aesthetic, and it's just like, whoa. And then you just can't making more and more I just started making like 1,000 variations of her.
Yeah.
And this is where the problem comes in with like creating a single character, because you know the traits are very noticeable. You know, she has to have wings. She has to have, you know, a skirt that looks something like this. She has to have a top. You know, she has to have and you can't vary too much else without losing.
Exactly. So this one, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, this is one where I couldn't really have the same strategy that I use for the talents or the traits, right? I couldn't just swap out layers and like
couldn't create thousands of them. Yeah.
No, because like you said, she needs to have that consistent look. She needs to have the same outfit that matches with the original NFT. She's got to have the wings. I know that first one only technically has one wing, but I thought it still looked cool. And then you know, it was really hard. Yeah, the model just kept spitting her out like with the exact same pose in every image. And the hardest part, honestly, was getting her into these different poses, like to make it feel 3D, make it feel like she's alive and like walking around or lounging on the couch or looking up, you know, into the distance. All that took a ton of effort, honestly, to get these variations. And some of them were like through image to image. So image to image is like where you give it a reference image. Like honestly, I was giving it like stock images of people like lounging on couches, and
then replace it with the character, right?
Replace it with the character with that trained model. And again, some of those turned out terrible. Like she was missing an arm, she was missing legs, or she had 3 legs, or whatever. Like the AI just starts spitting out garbage. But then that 1 out of like a million iteration that turns out good, that's all it takes sometimes. And actually one strategy I used was like you go through many iterations of training the model. Like the first iteration, you kind of are just cherry picking like the best ones, the best outputs, and then you add those back into the training set, right? That becomes more data. So it's technically not the original artwork, but it's like close enough to it that it's guiding the AI, like it's edging it a little bit closer towards where you want it to go.
And this is how they train the base models too, right? I mean, they're just shoving all this data in, and then they get outputs, and people say yes or no, and it keeps refining it.
Right, exactly. And I think like Stable Diffusion right now is working on a new model called STXL, and they have a pick tool where it gives you the community is basically helping the algorithm get better. And even stuff like GPT-4, it's not image necessarily directly, but like they use human feedback, you know, as a way to train the model to get it better and better. So humans are always in the loop. Like if you really want to get it the aesthetic that we want.
Well, yeah, because it requires at some point there's a visual part to it that it just can't understand.
Yeah, and the base models, you have to understand, like those are trained to be generalized to like so many different things, right? And so you can't really expect them to be super specialized in any one particular area. And so like my immediate thought when these models came out is like, I need to train it, you know, because I'm like training algorithms all day long. And so my first thought is always to train it to make it exactly how you want it to be. And then Dream Booth came out, which is like this really cool way to, from Google actually, they originally made it for their text image model, which probably a lot of people haven't even heard of, called Imagine. It's spelled with an EN at the end. And it was closed source, but then someone made an open source implementation of it, and then someone applied it to Stable Diffusion.
Yeah.
Then it just, I mean, it was like going crazy after that. Everyone was doing it, and that's like one of the techniques I used here, because it's just it's a way to personalize a text image diffusion model. And for those of you who don't know diffusion models, it's like the coolest concept, because it's just taking literally like random noise and slowly like denoising that noise into this artwork. It's just mind-boggling.
It's kind of like pixel by pixel to some degree, and it just picks a spot to start and then starts expanding, right?
Well, it's actually doing it in latent space. So it's latent diffusion. Latent diffusion was the name of the model before Stable Diffusion that I was actually using, and so that's why I was super excited when it came out, because it was just so much better in quality. But what they do is it uses an autoencoder, a variational autoencoder, to compress the pixel data into feature space, into latent space, and then it trains on that, and then it just decompresses it back at the end into the image.
So I want to pause here for a minute, and I think it's a good opportunity to remind people that, you know, Pixie Bolt AI V2 is available to all CyberBrokers holders. You know, just go start with some prompts. Don't get frustrated, because like anything new, it takes a moment to understand how to use it. Okay.
For sure.
If you're having an issue, go into the AI discussion channel, ask questions, people will help. And it doesn't take too long to kind of get the lingo and how to word things to get good results. So make sure to ask.
Yeah, and there's just a couple like heuristics, like just a couple of like general rules of thumb. Is like, just you want to describe the angle of the subject. Like you want to first describe what kind of
front view, side view, male, female. Yeah.
If you're trying to generate a particular broker or subject or whatever, you mention what kind of subject you want, the angle, you know, the scene. Sometimes the lighting can be something to call, like natural lighting versus studio lighting. And we add a lot of these.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that part in a minute.
Yeah, I'll get into that later.
Yeah, Brianna. Now I know you've been using Pixie Bolt a lot, and just like even backgrounds, right?
Yeah. I use it. We used it for our first faction teaser. If you didn't check that out, that background is AI, Pixie Bolt AI, and we have like our own little like team chat. And if our team went back, I was there for a while, because it is a skill. Like it's not. I mean, it's really cool as someone who think of myself as someone who likes to be creative, but who isn't necessarily artsy in the sense of drawing. And it is really powerful when you are a creative person, but maybe don't have like the actual skill of hand to, you know, bring something to life, to like have your idea, to like see it like in front of you is like, it's like such a like crazy feeling.
Very empowering, right?
It's so empowering. And like I've done like all this stuff for marketing here, like even like other AI tools, like I've used it to like visualize like scenes in my head for like stuff like I've wanted to like write, or just like even personal use stuff. Like my friend has used it to like visualize like a dress she wanted to make. Like the power, I think, of like this AI art stuff is like, it's just so, it's very empowering, I think. But yeah, you'll see probably a lot of Pixie Bolt influences in a lot of like marketing materials and stuff. Like it's just such a powerful tool to like create, again, these like beautiful visions of the paradigm. And there's all these different worlds that we're going to be opening up in version beta. And even just in like chats with like Lore, me and their creative producer, like when we've had an idea for a world, like we've gone to Pixie Bolt AI v2 and like started typing in prompts, and like we've been like, yeah, like this is what this would look like. This is a good idea. Like it's really cool, like as like a brainstorming tool, like an organizational tool almost too, just to get your order.
It speeds up the exploration, right? Because you can just generate tons of variations of a particular idea. If it doesn't turn out the way you like it, you can move on to another idea. And here's an example of like the Spice iterations. Spice was really interesting because there's no NFT artwork, right? There's nothing to go on.
She's not a cyberbroker. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a trader. And so the AI kind of had to just imagine her, almost out of nothing. But obviously we did get reference images that the team provided of like, certain aesthetics, certain
what we thought Spice would look like.
Yeah, you imagine Spice would look like, and then the AI kind of just ran with it, right? And like that first image is obviously off the mark a bit, not quite there. That was some of the very first ones that I did, and then it kind of got closer and closer. And then that last one is actually Spice IRL. So yeah, lots of different iterations. And Brianna's like, no, she needs to have blue eyes, or no, she needs to have colorful hair. So we just kept tinkering with it. And obviously the AI still doesn't get her perfect in every image. There were some balance that I had to have with like, if I trained her on too many of the same outfits, she would just always be generated in the same outfits. And like if I trained too long, it would just overfit and just keep making her with like the exact same expression or look. And so I wanted her to be, especially for the bot, like all of these models honestly were optimized to a certain extent for the bot, because I wanted users to be able to get reasonably looking outputs in a relatively easy way. Like I didn't want it to be super hard to like have to prompt engineer like crazy to get anything decent looking. And then I also wanted it to be creative, right, with its outputs. Because I think it was Merck. It was one of the funny things because we were testing it out, and Merck was like, "Yeah, pumpkin spice."
Pumpkin spice.
Spice holding a pumpkin, and I was like, "Damn, I never thought of that." I never really anticipated that people were gonna do crazy stuff like that. And then, and I'm like, okay, that became like my test, like to see that Spice was ready, was if she could be holding a pumpkin.
Well, yeah. Spice was interesting too, because if you're not familiar with her story, Spice is her main character. And so the three on the left with her with the colorful hair, that's her like in the paradigm, which is like the digital world. So this is almost like her avatar. But in real life, she's like way older and she lives in like a dystopian world. So she can't have colorful hair or colorful outfits. So this one was interesting too, because you had to make two versions of her, but like she still kind of had to like look like herself, like in like her facial, features.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? It's the same model. It's kind of funny. It's the same model, but it's prompting that got me to do the IRL look. So
you just add a little extra set of prompts, right?
Yeah, just add a set of descriptive words like, you say middle-aged instead of just, woman, which is more generic. Girl tends to get a little bit younger. And then you say something like, you can put a negative prompt for colorful hair, for example, and then it will just force it to be sort of like this neutral monotone color, or you could say monotone color hair. So anything you can do to describe it in the prompt, the better for the model.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you tinkered first with the camera mask, and then we ended up with a commemorative NFT challenge, I'll call it.
Oh, it was quite a challenge.
yeah. Challenge is a good word for it. Yeah. But when you were creating the models for that, it was more about you had some specific poses that we wanted.
Yes.
So we kind of were like, we want to see it this way. So you were working towards specific.
Correct.
Imagery.
Yeah,
But then,
correct. So some of the models were optimized for those scenes, just to get the result, the look we wanted, because it didn't really matter that they were generalizable. They didn't need to be
at
generalizable.
that time, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just training them to make really good outputs for specific scenes in some cases, because I just wasn't getting the results I wanted when I just trained it on generic data.
And then the next step was making it generic, because
Correct.
the current models
Yep.
are really good. I'll back up to these for a moment. Hold on, I'll back up.
Yeah.
You can put people in scenes, right?
So these are outputs from the community. I didn't make any of these. These were made by you guys, the
Yeah.
CyberBroker community, and that's honestly the most rewarding part for me, is to see what you guys come up with, because it's always stuff that I wouldn't have thought of, and some of you are actually really good at prompting. I've seen some of you make some really dope art and use some certain words that I didn't even know about, and got some really cool looks here. So love that.
Yeah, and I do remember the motorcycle was one of the first ones, and it was kind of the indicator that the model needed more work for general use, right?
Like when you asked for Ken on a motorcycle and it just showed Ken posing in the usual pose, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, wait a minute, this is not right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely very challenging. Ken was one of the ones that was challenging for the AI. I don't know why. Some of them you don't know why it has trouble with it. It just
Yeah.
like
And
techniques.
I think people should understand the complexity of getting a trained model like this coming from just 2D pictures. Because
Yes.
again,
Yes.
Ken has a look,
Yes.
Zink has a look, Saleya has a look, and there's no other pictures of those looks.
Yeah, and even all of the tutorials online of how to train with Dream Booth, they all talk about you take photos of yourself and you take a bunch of angles of it or whatever, but I haven't seen anyone really training from one image. One image is sort of unattainable, you would think, but part of it is the AI is just dreaming up these poses. I mean, it's just dreaming. These are synthetic views that the AI came up with.
And that reminds me, thank you to the Alpha Command Beta team who helped test this, because I remember Wheelie was one of these challenges.
Yes, there were challenges all kinds of different challenges to do the wheelie. Yeah, Papa Wheelie was a fun one. Also, the birthday ones were fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just quickly. So in CyberBrokers Discord, Pixie Bolt AI V2 has custom models for the following CyberBrokers: Ken, Zink, Saleya, which are all CyberBrokers, and then Spice, her TPL version. Those are the 4 characters you can currently use, for generic prompting. And then, what you want to talk about these 3?
Yeah, so this is the hacker talent, and then the BTC mask trait, and the camera mask trait. And these were really fun to work on, obviously, because these were some of the earliest ones that I played with. Hackers, I think, was the 3rd one that I did after BTC mask. So I already kind of knew what to do for those and what was going to work. I just tried to make it a little bit more, again, generalizable, because the BTC masks are fun, but I thought it would be really cool if you could almost just ask for anyone with the BTC mask. I did Joe Biden,
Yeah, we've seen some people get creative in there. Yes.
Yeah, and then the camera mask asked for Marilyn Monroe in the camera mask. You can just let your imagination run wild with these, and always remember to have fun. Don't take it too seriously. It's gonna spit out some funny stuff sometimes. That's just all part of the process, and this is all gonna get better. Another thing to remember is this is the worst it's ever gonna look. Always gonna get better over time as new techniques come out, and I'll talk about one of those in a minute.
And we should probably note that these are all using Stable Diffusion 2, so
Correct.
they're already on the latest
2.1.
Yeah, not that will last for long, but
no, there's probably not a new one coming out really soon.
Yeah, but the key point is they're 768 by 768. So
Correct.
they're higher res to start with, right?
Yeah, and you can upscale them. Obviously, there's super resolution models that upscale these to make them look super like high res. You can totally do. It's hard in the Discord because there's limits to the file sizes, but you
Yeah,
can.
we got to fix that one.
Yeah, if we can fix that, that'd be super awesome. And I also want to add something like you can swap out the backgrounds more easily.
Yeah, we got we got a laundry list of ideas. There's
a
never,
lot for sure.
never a shortage of that. The other thing I wanted to comment, I noticed, like as you train, not only is it picking up like the hackers, you know, they're really good. They all look the same because it's easy. You know, it's from head to toe. They look a certain way, so
Yeah,
that's easy. The bunny ears, or sorry, the camera mask, I think it brings a personality with it, which I thought was interesting.
yeah, yeah. And it was hard actually for the AI, like, because it gets confused about certain details sometimes. Like it'll think that the eyes are part of the mask sometimes, or it'll like it'll just get confused, and then even the BTC mask, it'll add like it gets confused about like which part is which. It doesn't necessarily add the Bitcoin logo sometimes, you know, because that's a part of just the model right now. It can't get certain details that are too small. But I think with in painting, you can add a Bitcoin logo, and also with future iterations, I'm sure it's just going to keep getting better, and it'll be able to get down to like fine grained details.
Yeah, and then there's this one too. A lot of us fat fingers, small keyboard creates all sorts of interesting stuff because you're typing it in, right?
Yes. You never know what you're going to get, and some of these are. I love that hacker standing in the ocean. That's super dope.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, I think the prompt for this was Doomsday, you know, bomb, and that's like the H bomb going off in the background, you know, in water.
I love like the surrealist type stuff. Like just ask for something that doesn't even exist. You know, like some combinations that are just so off the wall. And I think that's what a lot of people in AI are doing now. Is just creating things. And here's some early Ken iterations. That one on the left was actually the first image that it spit out, and like it looks decent. But then like every image after that looked almost exactly like it. And I had to play around with the poses. I was like using negative prompts really heavily to be like, don't show me a front facing view, you know, stop giving me flat images, and asking for angles. And that's how I got him like sitting to the side there. And then the other one of him, like his eyes are closed, you know, so I was asking for different expressions of Ken. And then the last one was just like, oh, I wonder if I can get Ken to sit next to a mech, you know. And obviously
That image, it's so
before I had any mech artwork, but like I thought the sunset was really cool in the background there.
Yeah. And then these are Zinc ones, right?
Yeah, that was like one of the first Zinc iterations on the left. Of course, he didn't have his visor on, so then I was like, okay, I guess I got to ask for the visor, and it's got to be like that orange tinted visor. And then sometimes it wouldn't add like all of his cleaning gear, like in the one in the second one. So then sometimes I had to ask for stuff like that. But yeah, I got him to smile on the last one there.
I've always wondered about the text. Where does the text come from?
So the text is just that these text image models do not render text very well. They kind of just it just becomes like garbled.
Well, kind of like, but how does it decide what garbled to put in? I mean, that's...
Honestly, I don't know. It's just imagining it. It's part of it is the variational autoencoder. When it compresses the pixel data, it just becomes like it loses those the original shapes, and so it just ends up filling in the gaps with random things that it thinks it could be, but it doesn't understand that those are words, right? And so I think again, this is going to get solved probably in the next month or so. Like I feel like the pace is so fast that all of these problems are going to get, like hands are another problem with AI. Everyone knows about hands being an issue. I think future iterations are going to solve that too. So.
Yeah, let's talk about Celea jumping. This was fun to watch.
It was really like a challenge to make her jump, and so and also they kept adding hair. I didn't show those, but like it kept adding hair. She's supposed to be bald. She's supposed to be like Asian, right looking, and sometimes it would just make her look like, you know, totally random. And so making her jump was hard. Yeah, I had to use, again, stock images of like, I thought of like people doing like really extreme stuff, like doing like backflips, or just doing like what was it, Cirque du Soleil. Like I was literally just looking for like anything that was in the neighborhood of what this was. And so all of that really helped. And then actually all of these were layered. Like the first two were layered, where I actually did the background as a separate layer and the character as its own layer. And that ended up being sort of one of the strategies that really worked in the commemorative project. But yeah, these were some of like the best iterations of her jumping that I thought were cool.
Yeah, the last one I think is the one that we ended up using.
Yeah.
And it looks so cool because in the commemorative NFT, we added some slight animation to these. And when she's like kind of moving, it's like her legs are kind of moving, her arms are kind of moving. It looks so cool. Like
it was awesome to have that add in the details that the AI couldn't really fill in sometimes, and then the animations made it just come to life even more. For sure. Yeah. Super cool.
Let's keep going here. Oh yeah, these.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites to work on. Honestly, like I was like obsessed with her. I just kept making more and more variations. The AI kind of went wild with it too. Like it was doing crazy stuff. It made it. I started like using words like melting paint or like liquid metal, and like I was just trying to come up with ways to get the aesthetic that I wanted. And that second one is like her hair like whipping back and becoming like, you can see like the action of that
circular. Yeah.
And then the third one's like her walking from the back view, and the AI just kind of like made this background almost feel like it like goes with her, like it's like everything's liquid metal or something. And then the first one was cool because like I know it's not supposed to, she's not supposed to look human, but I thought it still looked cool, you know. So when it did,
the colors in these are just so cool. And like I'll still go back and look at like some of the images for Alcove because like they're just so pretty. Like they just came out so cool. Like interesting how like the AI, like there's one that like we've actually is on the thumbnail for this video, and it's like her with the moon in the background. Like I don't know, like the ideas the AI just spit out, like I think it really liked this prompt.
it really liked Alco Magnesh. It was like and so these are just a couple of like sneak peeks, I guess, or examples of other traits, other talents that I was sort of experimenting with after the commemorative project. So I think you guys were doing like a sheeple some sort of like contest or something. So I was like, oh, sheeple.
Oh, the audition. Yeah, the audition for the lore. Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, that kind of just got me thinking, oh, I'll make sheeple. And I was really happy with the way it turned out. I mean, it made like real looking people with you know, sheep fur coming off.
Covered in cotton balls, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like cotton ball looking, but I was just surprised, actually. I was surprised how well it like picked up on the concept. I thought it was going to start creating like actual sheep people, you know, like weird looking
mutants.
Like, yeah. And I was happy that it didn't turn out like that. And it just sort of like subtly added the sheep ears, you know. There was another one where it was like one of them holding the hat in its hand, and I thought that was really cool too, like the sheep hat in its hand. And then the second one, of course, I'm obsessed with the Genesis mask. That's so iconic. I tried to pick one up the other day, but Vo outbid me by 0.1 ETH. I'm still bitter about that. But
there was a couple other people trying for that one too. I think that wasn't just you.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite ones in the whole collection. Of course, I'm kicking myself for not just buying it, but anyways, I generated a bunch of those. I became obsessed with that one too. You can see that it picked up on so many details. Like I actually used Josie. I used your original Genesis mask artwork as one of the images in the training set, and then it started.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
super detailed, like text, Josie, and then The Dreamers I thought were really cool also. How it really picked up on like those unique outfits of the guys having a specific outfit, and from the girls. I thought that was really cool. And the colors were just so vibrant and so like eclectic that like I fell in love with those too. And then of course the degens, you know, you got to make some degens, and I tried to get them like to be holding rather than it's attached to their wrist. I wanted to see if I could get it where they'd be like holding the balloon, and it actually picked up the B pretty well. The Bitcoin logo. There's a bunch of Ethereum ones too that also turned out well. I couldn't get
the shirt. The shirt was good.
I couldn't get the filter. I couldn't get the filter one to look good. That was the only one that I couldn't get to look good, and it's because it was a pretty low res. Like in the general context of the image, it was just too small for it to pick up on those details. And then this is just for fun. I mean, come on, this is Pixie Bolt AI.
I love this.
AI is named after Pixie.
Oh my God, the last one.
that one makes me laugh so hard. Yeah, so these were just sort of like meme like funny things that I made.
That's Pixie Bolt in the metaverse on the right.
I love these so
this is Pranksy's. Yeah, I think this is Pranksy's NFT, but no, I haven't shown it to.
Yeah, you got to send these over so we can tweet them out. Pranksy, because these are awesome.
I think that middle, I like the middle one. It's just like, yeah, I'm a cool cat, man.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I have like 1,000 of these, so I can share them with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. These are.
And the really funny part is, I've seen this Pixel Broker, and it's not far off.
Oh, really? That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I love the one of him zooming in the first one. It's like
racing down, racing down TPL.
Yeah, him with all the prompts, just off making AI art.
Yeah, I tried to get one of him playing with a ball, and like the ball was like a planet or something, just to make it right. Yeah, cool. I get it the way I want it, but I'll share it with you. It's still cool.
Yeah, no, these are really, really awesome. I love them.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, let's keep going. I think we wanted to show. Oh yeah, so let's close out. So the custom models, you know, those were trained, you know, and our hope is to add more over time. I know we've got a Meta Explorer coming. We can commit to that one.
Yes.
And then we'll see where we go from there.
Love how that was. By the way, I wasn't sure if I could share it here, so that's why I didn't put it in the slide.
Yeah, that's okay. So there is a Meta Explorer coming with and without the helmet.
Yes.
And, you know, to be honest, we need to see people start using Pixie Bolt. You know, if we don't get a lot of use of it, it may not be worth investing in long term. So we need everyone to start playing and, you know, getting value out of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, like how I feel like people don't realize how powerful it is, and the fact that they get free access to this as a holder. Like this is, I don't know any project that does this. Like, I mean, this is insane. How much power you have, and to be able to render like images of the same quality, honestly, as the commemorative product. Like these are like maybe not quite, because Azimuth put his details into it, but like you can make really awesome renderings of your actual brokers with this tool. So
yeah, and just to be clear, we're not letting it go yet. I'm just I think part of it was we announced it, the new one, during birthday week, so there were like 3 things going on that particular week. So you'll see we're going to have more sessions, you know, to help people out with learning it. You know, I think we're going to give some more, you know, examples and maybe create a video just to walk through, because it's really all about getting that first success. You know, you need to make sure after you use it, you come away feeling, okay, that worked a little bit, right?
Right. And I also think maybe there's some ways we could feature like really good outputs. Like maybe there could be just different ways to get people involved with it.
Yeah, or if some people want to like start, you know, coming together and creating picture versions of each story. you know,
Right.
or they want to create their own story and create pictures of it.
Yeah.
So I think
mini contests in the Discord, you know, for fun stuff. That'd be cool too.
Yep. Okay, so let's switch gears. So those were all custom models. Now we want to talk about the image-to-image feature. So, you know, obviously we don't have 10,001 custom models.
Yeah.
So
maybe someday.
yeah. When storage is a little bit different. Yeah, just as a little side note, how big is each of these models, James?
They're about 5 gigs, each one of them.
Yeah,
so 5 gigs times 10,000, yeah.
Multiply times 10,000, yeah.
There's some new techniques that I'm experimenting with that will turn that to 3 megabytes. So from 5 gigs to 3 megabytes. If I can pull it off, that would mean we could do the whole collection. Yeah, and then this image to image is a slightly different technique where instead of just starting with all random noise, it adds some noise to the original image that you give it, and then it starts from there denoising, okay? And that strength parameter is what essentially controls how much noise you're adding to the original image. So the more noise you add, as you can imagine, the more of the original image is kind of lost to the AI just being creative and filling in the details with whatever it dreams up.
So you can control, you know, stick closer to the original image or let AI go wild.
Correct. Yeah.
So this is available to all brokers. You can basically take you need a PNG or a JPEG version of your broker, okay, and you just simply attach it to your command. You describe your broker, so the AI tries to follow it. So, you know, in this one, you know, they said, you know, blonde hair, so female, blonde hair, you know, dress up blouse, yellow pants, to kind of try to follow the original broker, or you can change it if you want. You're welcome to do that too.
Yeah, there's different models you can use. I mean, there's outside of the Stable Diffusion model, the base model, there's a bunch of these other models that the community have trained as well. Like there's one that was trained on Mid-Journey outputs to make it look like a Mid-Journey aesthetic. There's anime style models, which I thought were really cool. Some of them, they turned the brokers into looking like they were anime. So just have fun with it. Dreamlike is like really sort of psychedelic, like just totally out there. And I think someone made Ashura that looked really actually like it could be Ashura. Like it was really cool.
They got the arms in there, which was surprising.
Yeah. So I think image to image is a really powerful tool. Again, I use it heavily in the commemorative art project. So there's definitely a lot of use cases for it. I do have some new image to image functionality that I'm working on right now. Some of you may have heard of ControlNet, but it's basically this new tool that came out recently that everyone's just kind of going bonkers over because it's finally gives you that control that a lot of people have been missing, feel like they're missing with their outputs. And where it was this genius idea, honestly, to train on like these intermediate spatial representations of images. So instead of training on the original image by itself, you train on like the canny edge version of the image, or like the pose, the key point poses of the image. And that allows you to then give it like an image from the Matrix, for example, of like some, you know, Trinity
or, you know, Neo, or
for Spice, and it'll turn Trinity into Spice in that exact same pose. Like it'll follow the pose very closely and fill in the character that you trained it on, because it works with any pre-trained model. So you can feed any custom model. So I'd love to add that to the bot, because I think that would make it just even more fun for the community. But it's still awesome the way it is right now, because again, that's all I had when I did the commemorative project. I didn't have ControlNet.
Yeah, and these I believe were the standard version, so they tend to come out by default like 3D looking characters.
Yeah.
But as you said, the beauty of image to image is you can select the other models. So if you want to, you know, turn your broker into a cyberpunk or a comic or anime, I've noticed a lot of people using the anime version to create, their broker in anime. And the next part is you could actually just like, we need to figure out how to get rid of backgrounds, but then you
Yes.
just take that picture and put it into something else.
Correct. Yeah, and I saw like some community members kind of picked up on that, where they started creating scenes and then just add.
Backgrounds,
Yeah, yeah, like Vo made one with that Genesis mask, which is cool.
Yeah. Okay, I think that is it. Did we? I'm trying to think. We missed. I think we covered almost everything as far as how they got created, the technology dream booth that you use to create them, the stages from starting with just trying to get them to pose versus turning them into a model that everyone could use.
Correct.
And 4 months. I mean, you've been working on this stuff for quite a while.
Yeah, it was a learning experience even for me. Even though I'm an AI engineer, you don't really know what's going to happen when you feed data to an AI. It can do all kinds of crazy stuff, but yeah, it was a really good learning experience, and I think again, it's just going to keep getting better as the community uses it. It also provides feedback to me, right? To us who are creating this tool, gives us feedback on like, okay, here's some really good outputs, here's some failures, what are the weaknesses of it that we need to work on. So the more you use it, the better it's going to get.
Brianna, have you done this with any of your brokers yet?
I haven't done mine yet, but I'm curious to like put mine in like anime, and I've seen some people too in like other engines do like Studio Ghibli versions of like characters.
Yes.
Like one of my favorites. So I think it'll be cool too. Like one thing I feel like just like playing around with this and like, oh, this would be so cool to make like a comic book, like and like just thinking about our lore and our universe. I think it could be fun for me or just even other holders to maybe like bring some like if you have like individual stories you want to tell about your CyberBroker. I feel like this tool could be really cool to comic strip, even just like a few storyboards. Like my lore brain was like, oh, all the applications is telling stories is just really, really awesome. Again, like if you have the story in your head but don't have the artistic hand, this is like such a great way to bring that to life.
Well, you don't have the story, now you've got GPT-4 to give you a story.
True, you don't even need
so like I feel like Josie and the CyberBrokers team, like you've created a blueprint, right? Like as holders, we have the blueprint, we have the original artwork, but what we choose to do with it is up to us, because we can use AI to realize our dreams of like what our broker could be doing and bring them to life. So obviously Mech's coming out soon. I'm super excited to try the AI on Mechs as well. So
yeah, that question was asked earlier, and I didn't want to touch it then. But do you think like image to image with Mechs will work?
I think it's going to be potentially incredible, because these are going to be fully rigged. So that means we're going to get.
Oh, you could pose them. That's right.
Any pose, any angle of them that you want. And so if you feed that to the AI, I can't imagine how good it's going to be when it outputs it. So yeah, I'm really excited about using this on Mechs.
Yeah, that's I never thought about that. What about this question here from Ballistic about so I know how the reroll works on standard stable diffusion, but how does it work on image to image?
Yeah, so what the dice is doing is it's essentially changing the seed. So the seed is what dictates the remember I mentioned the random noise. So but that random noise needs to be initialized from something, and it's initialized from the seed. So when you change that seed, that changes the initial noise. So then that means that's definitely going to end up with a slightly different look. It depends with image to image, it may be less drastic because it does still have the same original image to work with. So you're only changing the random noise in that area that it added the noise, right? So just keep that in mind. yeah, it'll still have a similar effect.
Got it. Okay, I think we're way over, and that's perfectly fine because this was an amazing conversation. James, anything you wanted to close out with?
No, I just think that I think we should use AI to bring these characters to life. I mean, anything we can do to make them more lifelike, make them feel more real, make the experience more immersive, the better for all of us, right? And
So the call to action then is go try it.
Call to action is go use the bot. Use the bot.
And ask questions, right? And
yes.
AI
if you're having trouble, don't be like, some people are just so worried that they're going to get bad outputs and they don't even try it, you know, like don't be afraid of creating junk. Like all of us have created junk. You know, I've created probably more junk than anyone here. I created, I think, 15,000 images of brokers, and like a small percentage of them were like good enough to show, you know. So don't be afraid about that. Just use it. The more you use it, the better you'll get at it. The prompting becomes intuitive over time. And ask questions, if you're having any problems.
It's a little bit like learning a new language.
Yeah.
Not as complicated because it's much faster.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just got to figure out what's the way to talk to the AI to get the results that I want. And it happens from trial and error, honestly. Just let me try this. Didn't work. Okay, let me try this. And rolling the dice a couple of times, because again, that seed is going to affect the output a lot. If you get good outputs with a certain seed, I actually recommend saving that seed and reusing it in your other outputs. Obviously changing the prompt. If you don't change the prompt, you'll get basically the same result. So play around with that, save seeds that give you good results and keep using those. So yeah.
So pop in Discord, Pixie Bolt, docs.cyberbrokers.com, which is actually linked from the tool. All sorts of docs there to help get you up to speed, step-by-step instructions, all the different options, and then ask questions. AI discussion, always someone around to help out. James, this has been amazing. What do you think, Brianna?
No, this was just so great, and I know I'm excited to get in and again hone my craft, Pixie Bolt, because I think it's kind of like addicting, honestly. Like once you, again, like I think you have to get over that fear of like, okay, the first few times, like they're not going to look as great, but then you're kind of, like you're tweaking and you're perfecting. And you could go in my private channel I have to do stuff for marketing, and you could see like all the images that I've spent like perfecting.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
You know what? We should start selecting some of those and put them into the AI favorites. So that's reminding me.
I don't think we're using AI favorites nearly enough. Like we should be highlighting all the great stuff people are making, and again, introducing contests really helps sometimes to get people more involved. And then it is very personal too. You know, sometimes like Brianna, I get the feeling like it's personal for you, like some of your outputs. It's the same for me. Like it's almost therapeutic sometimes, like to create like, and just looking at it makes you happy. Like that's it. Yeah, it's very subjective. Like, so just because you know it looks good to you doesn't mean it looks good to someone else. Like, so don't worry about any of that, really. Make whatever you think looks good.
Perfect. I think we should remind people about dates to close out. Got some dates for us, Brianna?
Yes. So we'll be tweeting all of this out immediately after this is over. So be sure to like and retweet that post when we send it. But Pixel Brokers is coming to you April 6th, and we will be at NFT NYC. So the Wednesday of NFT NYC, block off the afternoon. We'll have more details coming soon, but we're going to have a fun meetup for NFT NYC. And then April 17th, we'll be assembling mechs. We're coming right back from NFT NYC, and we're going to start assembling mechs with you. We're super excited. Again, we worked really hard to make sure everything is up to the CyberBrokers standards, and I think it's going to blow everyone away with, again, the details, the quality. We're excited for you to get your 3D assets and start making things with them.
and using them in worlds.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be walking around in world with people and, check out our Frankenmechs, go walk up to each other and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that part had this.
Yes.
And that's the really cool part is they're disassembled. You can disassemble them and recreate them, which I think people are, until they see them live, they're not going to know all the time, which is why disassembly will be a good feature, because people don't have to fear about waiting to create their mechs early on.
Yeah. So all exciting stuff.
Okay. James, thank you. Brianna, as always.
Thank you.
This has been Pixel Brokers. This has been Pixel Brokers. I keep doing that. We have too many
on the brain.
Yeah. What show are we on?
Paradigm Live, I believe.
There we go. Paradigm Live. It's funny how many times we actually do that internally with all the
Yeah, I know.
the similar names.
Pixel.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, James.
Thanks for